Hi, this is Kara. Thank you for watching my presentation about my timeline, 5 generations of distance learning. And I really liked starting with this video of this young man doing his homework on a boat with the sailboat passing by in the background. I mean, that's kind of really what distance learning means to a lot of people, freedom to learn anywhere and by any means that you can. So moving on into the first generation of distance learning, we can see that it started with correspondence and independent study way back in 1728. An American teacher, yay, American teachers, Caleb Phillips offered the first correspondence course. And in 1878, New York based Chautauqua Literary and Scientific Circle offered a 4 year correspondence course. In 1922, a high school principal had genius idea to start the first supervised correspondence study for students in Michigan. Moving on to the second generation, radio and television exploded on the scene, and this made a huge impact in how people consumed information or entertainment and education. So in 1921, the first educational radio license was issued to the Latter-day Saints University of Salt Lake City. 1934, University of Iowa produces educational TV broadcast. I would love to see some of those now. 1952, the first cable TV begins operation. Moving on to the third generation, open universities happen. Now, this is around the time that some of you, your grandparents, were around. In 1964, the first test of a distance education as a total system was tried, and that was the Articulated Instructional Media Project. 1967, open universities are established in the UK, and that was not so much in America, but it was an amazing thing happening in the UK for students to be able to have university courses at free or very low cost. In 1975, University of Mid-America finally got on that bandwagon, and they established the Distance Education Consortium. Moving to the fourth generation, teleconferencing. Yes, people actually learned through telephone lines. And in 1965, the first educational telephone network is set up using satellites. Satellites created just an entirely new world for distance education. In 1974, the world's first educational satellite launches. In 1987, business TV starts. And this was a way for businesses to start doing training through TV. Now, we do training now online, but this was a little bit different. This was using recordings, VHS tapes, and audio. Moving to the fifth generation, this baby was created. This is the Altair 8800, the first personal computer that hits the market. Now, as I was researching this, I found out that there is some debate if it actually really was, but this is what the general consensus I found said was. And of course, all of us know how that changed the world. In 1970, Plato, which was the precursor of the network computing, happened, and the internet never could have happened without that. So vital. 1993, Mosaic, the first web browser, is created, and that opens even more accessibility for distance learning. So moving on to the 20th century. I'm sorry, the 21st century, out of the 20th century. Now, this is a time that a lot of us have actually been around for. Some of you have way back at the beginning. And we've seen just an explosion in the availability and the quality of distance learning. So in the 2000s, online education starts becoming more mainstream. I was still homeschooling kids back then. We were super excited to be able to access online courses. That was just considered really, really cool. In the 2010s, MOOCs, massive open online courses that are free or low cost online courses, they become popular. They still are very popular. And of course, we all remember the beginnings of the 2020s when COVID-19 came along and caused an absolute explosion in e-learning, in distance learning. Some of it people wanted to happen, some of it they didn't, but there was really no choice. And it was kind of a way to just push us into the 21st century with distance learning. And for a lot of people, there's no going back now. Now that they've seen what can be done with distance learning and how really amazing it is and how it can reach people that would have no other opportunity to expand their knowledge. So, as I created my poster, I wanted to do something that maybe a teacher could put up in a room in an elementary classroom. And so I went with the kind of a chalkboard look, and I kind of like the juxtaposition of a chalkboard, which has been around forever in our schools and education systems, and talking about new technology and distance education. So, the combination of the chalk and the pictures, I think it might be a really fun way to be. It could be used as a springboard, maybe for kids to choose one of the generations that they want to do a report on or learn more about, or something like that. So, thank you very much for watching, and I know I've learned a lot, and I hope you have too.